Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! The silent witness to this story is a lone cardboard box in the corner of an empty living room, holding the remnants of a shattered existence. Each crease on its surface seemed to mirror the pains of a heart that once beat with vitality. Signed divorce papers, mementos that stirred painful memories, and a sense of finality filled its depths. These were the remnants of a once thriving life, now reduced to mere objects, ready to be discarded or forgotten. Through the bare apartment, sunlight streamed, embracing the plain hardwood floor, giving birth to a symphony of shadows and light. Paradoxical to the darkness cloaked around the soul of the room's owner, this glow foretold of renewal and a path toward salvation. Unaware of the impending complexities, a newly bloomed existence, in a city yet unknown, awaited its discoverer with promises of revival. But what remained when everything familiar had been stripped away? With a deep sigh, weary hands reached for the box cutter, slicing through the packing tape that sealed away the past. This was the last box, marked miscellaneous in hasty black marker. The contents were an odd assortment of items that had fallen through the cracks of the more organized packing process. A forgotten coffee mug, a stack of old birthday cards, a leather-bound journal never filled. And there, nestled at the bottom, a boutique box with elegant script across the top. Inside, wrapped in delicate tissue paper, lay a turquoise summer dress, price tag still attached, a gift for her that had never been given. The cinched waist and flowing skirt spoke of warm evenings and carefree laughter, everything their marriage had not been in its final years. Why did I even pack this? The question hung in the empty apartment, unanswered. Fingers traced the soft fabric, remembering the day of purchase. It had been their anniversary, and the dress had called out from the display window of an upscale boutique. It would look beautiful on her, he had thought. But the anniversary dinner never happened. Another argument, another night of cold silence, another nail in the coffin of their failed relationship. Standing alone in the new apartment, surrounded by boxes and the blank canvas of a life yet to be written, something shifted. A curiosity, long buried under layers of expectation and conformity, surfaced with unexpected force. The bathroom mirror reflected a stranger, a man with tired eyes and brown hair that needed a trim, dressed in worn jeans and a faded t-shirt. Just once, just to see. The turquoise fabric settled against skin that had never known such softness. The zipper slid up with surprising ease, and the dress fell into place as if it had been waiting for this moment. The cinched waist created curves where there had been none, and the skirt swished gently around knees with the slightest movement. The reflection now showed someone else entirely, not quite a woman, not the man of moments before, but someone in between. Someone right. Oh, came the whispered realization. Oh. In that moment, decades of undefined longing crystallized into clarity, the persistent feeling of something missing, the disconnect between internal reality and external presentation, the fascination with women's clothing that had been dismissed as aesthetic appreciation. All of it suddenly made sense. Days passed in a blur of online research and discreet shopping. Women's jeans and blouses arrived in plain packages, each one a small revolution. YouTube tutorials on makeup application played on repeat until techniques were mastered. The brown hair grew out a little longer, styled to frame the face in a softer way. The name came during a late-night moment of introspection, staring at the reflection of the person emerging from the chrysalis of the past. Valentina, spoken aloud for the first time, tasting the syllables. It felt right, elegant, feminine, with a strength underneath. Nothing like Jamie, the name that had never quite fit. The burgundy velvet dress was the next milestone. 3/4 sleeves, a modest neckline, the color rich against newly moisturized skin. Standing in front of the mirror, Valentina saw herself truly for the first time. The brown hair now touched her shoulders, the beginnings of a feminine style emerging. Her movements had changed too, smoother, more deliberate, as if her body was remembering a language it had always known, but never been allowed to speak. The closet transformation happened gradually. The men's section grew smaller as the women's expanded. Office-appropriate shirt dresses in navy and forest green hung beside casual sundresses in cheerful prints. A classic black cocktail dress waited for evenings out that had yet to be planned. Each hanger represented another step into authenticity. Makeup became a daily ritual rather than an experiment. Foundation to smooth, mascara to define, lipstick in various shades from subtle rose for day to bold red for special occasions. The bathroom counter, once Spartan, now hosted an array of bottles and tubes arranged with care. 3 months after opening that fateful box, Valentina stood in her fully furnished apartment, ready for her first day at a new job. No one there would ever know Jamie. They would meet only Valentina, dressed in a tailored olive green dress that highlighted her developing curves. Her brown hair swept into a simple updo, minimal makeup accentuating her features rather than masking them. "You can do this," she told her reflection, adjusting the thin gold bracelet on her wrist. The fear was there. It always was, but beneath it ran a current of joy so pure it brought tears to her eyes. This was who she had always been meant to be. The marketing firm occupied the 15th floor of a glass tower downtown. Valentina's heels clicked confidently across the lobby, her resume and portfolio tucked into a sleek leather bag slung over her shoulder. The elevator ride gave her one last moment to breathe before stepping into her new life. "Good morning," the receptionist greeted her. "You must be our new content strategist." "Yes, Valentina Miller. I have an appointment with Richard Chen." No flicker of doubt crossed the receptionist's face. No questioning glance or hesitation in her welcoming smile. Just simple acceptance of the woman standing before her. "Of course. Richard is expecting you. Let me show you to his office." As they walked through the open concept workspace, Valentina noticed the diverse group of people gathered around computer screens and conference tables. Her research into the company culture had indicated an emphasis on inclusivity, but seeing it firsthand still brought a sense of relief. Richard Chen proved to be a dynamic man in his 40s, with an easy laugh and intense focus. The interview turned into a collaborative brainstorming session that left Valentina exhilarated. "Your portfolio is impressive," Richard said as their meeting concluded. "But what really stands out is your fresh perspective. When can you start?" "Monday would be perfect." "Excellent! Diana in HR will email you the onboarding paperwork. Welcome to the team, Valentina." That night, she celebrated with a glass of wine on her small balcony, watching the city lights flicker on as dusk descended. The divorce had felt like an ending, but it had actually been the beginning. Without that painful dissolution, she might never have found the courage to embrace her true self. The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. Her sister's number flashed on the screen. "Hey, Ellie," she answered, the warmth in her voice masking her nervousness. This would be their first conversation since she had sent the email explaining her transition. "Val?" Ellie's voice was tentative. "Is that you? You sound different." "It's me. Voice training. I've been working with a coach." A pause stretched between them, filled with all the questions Ellie wasn't asking. "The pictures you sent," Ellie finally said. "You look happy. Happier than I've seen you in maybe ever." The tears came then, silent tracks down carefully contoured cheeks. "I am happy. For the first time, I'm really me." "That's what matters then." Ellie's voice cracked slightly. "I won't pretend I understand completely. But I'm trying, and I want you in my life. The kids miss their... Well, I guess you're their aunt now, not their uncle." "Aunt Valentina." She tested the title. "I like the sound of that." "Me too. And your brown hair looks great longer, by the way. It suits you." The conversation turned to everyday matters. Ellie's work, the children's school activities, their parents' latest cruise adventure. Normalcy wrapped around Valentina like a comfortable blanket. She was still part of the family, still loved, still accepted, despite all the changes. After hanging up, Valentina stood before her closet, running her fingers along the row of garments that represented her journey. The turquoise dress hung in a place of honor, a reminder of the moment everything changed. Next to it, the burgundy velvet that had marked her first true venture into public as Valentina. Each piece told a story of discovery and growth. The first day at the new job passed in a whirlwind of introductions and orientations. Valentina's olive green dress and modest heels struck the perfect professional note, and her contributions during the morning meeting drew appreciative nods from her new colleagues. During lunch in the staff kitchen, a woman about her age approached her table. "Mind if I join you? I'm Monica from the design team." "Please do. I'm Valentina, new in content strategy." Monica placed her salad container on the table and sat down. "I heard Richard singing your praises this morning. That's not easy to accomplish on day one." "Just lucky my brain was functioning despite the first day jitters." "Well, a few of us are going for drinks after work on Friday. You should join us." The casual invitation sparked both excitement and anxiety. Social settings presented a different set of challenges than the structured environment of the office. "That sounds great," Valentina said, pushing past her hesitation. "Thanks for including me." The rest of the week established a rhythm. Days were filled with client meetings and content calendars, evenings with cooking experiments and Netflix. Valentina's confidence grew with each successful interaction, each moment of being seen as the woman she had always been. Friday evening found her standing before her closet once again, deliberating. The gathering was at a casual gastropub, which called for something relaxed but stylish. She selected dark wash jeans that accentuated her legs and a flowing crimson blouse that complemented her brown hair and added a touch of color. The pub was crowded with after-work clientele when Valentina arrived. Monica waved from a corner booth where she sat with 3 others. "Everyone, this is Valentina from Content," Monica introduced her. "Valentina, meet Dario and Prisha from Design and Eduardo from Accounts." Conversation flowed easily, helped along by craft beers and shared stories of office mishaps. No one questioned Valentina's presence or her identity. She was simply the new woman from Content with sharp insights and a dry sense of humor. "So, where were you before this?" Eduardo asked during a lull in the conversation. The question was innocent, but it brushed against the boundary between Valentina's past and present. She had prepared for moments like this, crafting answers that were truthful without revealing the parts of her history she wasn't ready to share. "I was at a smaller agency in Chicago," she replied, which was true. "After my divorce, I needed a complete change of scenery." "Chicago! I love that city!" Prisha jumped in. "Did you live downtown?" The conversation moved on, the potential minefield successfully navigated. As the evening progressed, Valentina felt the last of her rigid self-protection begin to soften. These people saw her, accepted her, enjoyed her company. The persistent fear that she would somehow be exposed or rejected began to recede. Walking home in the cool evening air, Valentina realized she was smiling. Her crimson blouse caught the breeze, and her brown hair, now grown past her shoulders, danced around her face. The city that had once seemed imposing now felt like home. The following weeks brought more integration into her new life. A client presentation earned her a congratulatory email from the CEO. A senior team member requested her specifically for an important campaign. Her apartment filled with personal touches, framed art, potted plants, handcrafted ceramics from a local market. Her body changed too, responding to the hormone therapy she had started under a doctor's supervision. Subtle shifts in fat distribution softened her jawline and rounded her hips. Her skin grew smoother, and her emotional responses deepened in ways both challenging and illuminating. The turquoise dress that had started everything hung unworn for months. It represented a beginning, but Valentina had moved beyond those first tentative steps. Her style had evolved into something distinctly her own. Classic silhouettes with occasional bohemian touches, colors that complemented her complexion, accessories chosen for meaning rather than flash. When autumn arrived, bringing cooler temperatures and golden light, Valentina received an unexpected email from her ex-wife. "I'm going to be in town for a conference next week," it read. "I thought perhaps we could meet for coffee if you're comfortable with that. There's no agenda. I just want to see how you're doing." The message sent a jolt of anxiety through Valentina. Caroline had been notified of the transition through lawyers, part of the final legal untangling of their shared life. There had been no direct communication since, no angry accusations, but also no expressions of support. After careful consideration, Valentina replied with a suggestion for a quiet cafe near her apartment. The meeting was set for the following Wednesday afternoon. The day arrived laden with emotional weight. Valentina chose her outfit with particular care, a knee-length navy dress with a subtle floral pattern, paired with a cream cardigan. Professional but approachable, neither provocative nor apologetic. Her brown hair hung loose around her shoulders, framing her face with gentle waves. Caroline was already seated when Valentina entered the cafe, recognizable despite the 3 years that had passed. She looked up from her phone, and Valentina watched the momentary shock cross her features before being replaced by a careful neutrality. "Hi," Valentina said, sliding into the seat across from her former spouse. "Thank you for suggesting this." "Thank you for agreeing." Caroline's voice was measured, her eyes taking in every detail of the woman before her. "You look... well, so do you." An awkward silence descended, filled with the ambient sounds of the cafe, espresso machines hissing, customers chatting, soft music playing overhead. "I wasn't sure what to expect," Caroline finally admitted. "The lawyers told me about everything, but seeing you like this is something else entirely." Valentina wrapped her hands around her coffee mug, drawing strength from its warmth. "I understand. It must be strange." "It is. But also, somehow, it makes sense." Caroline's brow furrowed. There were signs, weren't there? Things I missed or misinterpreted. I missed them too, for a long time, Valentina said gently. I didn't know myself. Not really. Not until after we ended. The conversation that followed was unlike any they had shared during their marriage. Honest, vulnerable, without the defensive barriers that had characterized their final years together. Caroline spoke of her new position at the university, her tentative steps into dating again. Valentina shared stories of her job, her apartment, her reconnection with Ellie. I found the dress, Valentina said as they were preparing to leave. The turquoise one, from the boutique on Michigan Avenue. You never opened it. Recognition dawned in Caroline's eyes. The anniversary gift. I was so angry with you that week. It changed my life, that dress. Put me on the path to finding myself. Caroline reached across the table, briefly touching Valentina's hand. I'm glad something good came from our ending. You deserve to be happy, Valentina. The name on Caroline's lips, acknowledgement, acceptance, closure, brought unexpected tears to Valentina's eyes. So do you, Caroline. So do you. They parted with a brief hug, the physical contact awkward but necessary. Walking home, Valentina felt lighter, as if the final tether to her past had been gently released. That weekend, Valentina wore the turquoise dress for the first time. Not for anyone else, just for herself, a private celebration of the journey. The cinched waist that had once created an illusion now emphasized the real curves her body had developed. Her brown hair, longer now than it had ever been, contrasted beautifully with the vibrant fabric. Standing before the mirror, Valentina saw the complete arc of her transformation, from the confused, disconnected person trying on someone else's discarded gift to the whole, integrated woman who smiled back at her now. The dress had been the catalyst, but the change had come from within, from the courage to acknowledge and embrace her truth. Over the following months, Valentina's life expanded in ways both expected and surprising. A promotion at work brought new responsibilities and creative challenges. A community theater production needed a marketing consultant, leading to new friendships and cultural experiences. A cooking class introduced her to the joys of Thai cuisine and a rotating dinner group that met monthly. Dating remained complicated territory. Valentina had debated the right approach. Being upfront about her history risked rejection before being known as a person, while disclosure later risked accusations of deception. There were no perfect solutions, only personal choices made with integrity and care. Her first date as Valentina was with a professor of comparative literature she met at a book launch. Their coffee meeting went well, conversation flowing easily between literary criticism and travel stories. When he asked to see her again, Valentina made her decision. I'd like that, she said. But there's something you should know about me first. His reaction, thoughtful questions, honest expression of his lack of experience with transgender people, but ultimately a genuine desire to continue getting to know her, gave Valentina hope. Though that particular relationship didn't develop beyond a few enjoyable dates, it showed her that authentic connections were possible. Spring arrived with a riot of blossoms and a wedding invitation from Ellie. +1 had been written on the envelope, a silent vote of confidence in Valentina's growing social life. The burgundy velvet dress, her first true venture into public femininity, no longer fit her evolved figure. In its place, Valentina chose an elegant silver-gray gown that whispered against the floor when she walked. Her brown hair, now falling past her shoulder blades, was styled in an intricate updo with a few strategic tendrils framing her face. The wedding venue, a restored Victorian mansion surrounded by gardens, buzzed with activity when Valentina arrived. She had come alone, deciding that navigating family dynamics would be challenging enough without adding a date to the equation. Ellie spotted her immediately, breaking away from a conversation to embrace her sister.
"You made it!"
"And you look absolutely stunning." "So do you," Valentina replied, taking in Ellie's radiant appearance in her maid of honor dress. "Where are Mom and Dad?" "In the garden, last I saw. They're excited you're here, Val. Nervous, but excited." The reunion with her parents unfolded with tender awkwardness. Her mother's eyes misted as she took in her daughter's appearance, and her father's handshake turned into an unexpected hug. They had learned her name, practiced her pronouns, made the effort that spoke of love, transcending understanding. "We saved you a seat with us for the ceremony," her mother said, voice slightly wobbly. "Your brown hair looks so lovely up like that." "Thanks, Mom. I had professional help," Valentina smiled, touching one of the curled strands.
"It took forever, but worth every minute."
During the reception, as Valentina stood at the edge of the dance floor, watching her niece and nephew demonstrate their exuberant but uncoordinated dance moves, a voice spoke beside her. "They're having the time of their lives, aren't they?" She turned to find a woman about her age, dressed in a deep blue cocktail dress, champagne flute in hand. "Maximum enthusiasm, minimal skill," Valentina agreed with a laugh. "The perfect combination at their age." "I'm Renee," the woman offered. "Friend of the groom from college."
"Valentina, sister of the maid of honor."
"Ah, so you've known the bride forever then?"
"Since she was born,"
Valentina confirmed. "Though I missed a few years recently. Life got complicated." "Doesn't it always?" Renee's smile held understanding beyond the casual exchange. "Would you like to dance? I promise my skills are slightly better than the juniors out there." The evening unfolded like a dream, dancing that turned into conversation, shared dessert at one of the reception tables, an exchange of phone numbers as the celebration wound down. Valentina made no disclosures that night. There would be time for truth if their connection developed further. Driving home in the pre-dawn light, silver gray gown carefully hung in the back seat, Valentina reflected on how far she had come. From a person unable to articulate the persistent wrongness they felt to a woman fully present in her life, acknowledged and accepted by family, respected at work, open to new relationships. The apartment welcomed her home, every corner reflecting the person she had become. Photos from her new life, hiking with colleagues, Thanksgiving with family, opening night at the theater, filled frames where once there had been emptiness. Books lined shelves, plants thrived on the balcony, kitchen cabinets held matching dishware chosen with care rather than desperation. In the bedroom, Valentina removed her makeup with practiced motions, the ritual of returning to her natural face, now one of authenticity rather than disguise. Her brown hair, released from its updo, fell in waves down her back. The silver gray gown joined the collection in her closet, no longer costumes but simply clothes. Her clothes, part of the external expression of her internal reality. The turquoise dress still hung in its place of honor, a reminder of beginnings. Next to it now was a growing collection representing milestones. The olive green dress from her first day at work, the crimson blouse from her first social outing with colleagues, and now the silver gray gown from her return to family celebrations. Morning light filtered through the curtains as Valentina settled into bed, exhausted but content. Tomorrow was Sunday, brunch plans with Monica, perhaps a call to Renee. Definitely a long walk through the botanical gardens, now bursting with spring color. As sleep claimed her, Valentina's final thought was one of gratitude. The painful ending of her marriage had created space for this beginning. The discovery of a forgotten dress had opened the door to self-discovery. The courage to step through that door had led to a life more authentic and joyful than she had ever imagined possible. The cardboard box that had once contained her catalyst now stored winter sweaters on the top shelf of her closet. The divorce papers were filed away with other important documents. The memories remained, but had lost their sting, transformed into necessary steps on the path that had led her here. To this apartment, filled with light. To this body that finally felt like home. To this name that resonated with her soul. To this life that, despite its ongoing challenges, was undeniably and beautifully her own. Valentina's phone chimed with a message as she drifted toward sleep. Renee, thanking her for the evening and suggesting coffee next weekend. A smile curved Valentina's lips as she typed a simple response. I'd love that. Sweet dreams. Setting the phone aside, she surrendered to sleep, wrapped in the peace of being exactly who she was meant to be.
Thanks for watching, my girlies. Be sure to check out Patreon for more.